Yes, good morning, everyone, wherever you are on the globe. I want to take my moment to discuss or to interact with you on this important topic, most especially for those of my colleagues and my students that are in psychology or guidance and counseling. If you take a look at the title of this material, is EGC 943, Psychological Testing in Counseling. As a counselor, as a counseling psychologist, before you treat somebody, there is need for you to at least take a look at his psychology, uh, signifying that the person is mentally ready to interact with you as a professional. So we have different instruments, we have different tests, we have different scales and inventories that a professional will use in order to test somebody's psychology. We normally test behavioral psychology. Maybe if somebody is suffering from moral issues, a researcher can make use of something that has to do with that. When I say moral, I'm referring to things that have to do with behavior. You can use an inventory psychological test to determine whether the person is really disturbed morally also. And not only this, you can still use motivational inventory to determine the state of readiness of a student or a client that comes to you for counseling also. And not only this, we have premarital scale or premarital inventories that a psychologist is expected to use. And by the way, a student that is under research that is under supervision may use psychological test inventories in different areas, most especially for those of our students that are in psychology, guidance and counseling and things like that. They are expected to take a look at this topic very well. Psychological testing to me is everything in psychology and counseling. So I want to at least discuss or talk about an issue that is validation, where we normally get problems with our students. For them to validate their instruments, if I'm talking, if I say instrument, I'm referring to skills, I'm referring to inventories, I'm referring to things like that. So I'm going to take one of the aspects that is validity. Uh, Validity, as we can see, of an instrument is part and parcel of what a researcher is expected to know. It's part and parcel of what a psychologist, most especially a counselor, is expected to understand. So validity in its entirety is the process of ensuring that an instrument actually measures what it's supposed to measure. Sometimes we may construct an instrument that may not measure what is expected of us. So there is need for a researcher to understand that in the course of constructing an instrument, your instrument must take a look at all the aspects of your objectives, all the aspect of your topic, all the aspect of your research questions, all the aspect of your hypothesis and things like that. And that will give you an ample opportunity to display your talent, to even showcase what you have for people to see that yes, something of that nature happens in the arena or in the phenomena of research also. So validating an instrument entails getting the instrument measures what it's supposed to measure. So as a researcher, as a teacher, as an instructor, as a counselor, as a senior academic, you are expected to take a look at the instrument. Maybe the instrument did not measure what it's supposed to measure. So if the instrument measures what it's supposed to measure, then you are good to go. The instrument can be reliable and the instrument can be uh, dependable and acceptable in the face of researchers and so. So the next thing I want to look at the content validity. This is why we normally get problem with our students and even the researchers. If the content of your instrument or the items or the test or the scale are not measuring what is supposed to measure, then there is a problem. So we are expected to look at this. Uh, Content validity ensures the instrument covers all aspects of the construct being measured. So the aspect of all aspects of the construct, regardless of any of the sections or regardless of any of the components or compartments that you may skip. So all the construct that you are expected to measure, you are expected to take your time to measure those things as a researcher. And you may consult experts in the field to review the items for you, to look at the content, most especially your supervisor and other experts in your field can still look at the content of the instrument, and they will tell you, yes, it's okay. They can compare items with the objectives and theoretical framework of your work to tell you that, yes, the item or the instrument is okay, the items of the instrument are okay. So these are some of the things that we are expected to note as researchers and students, most especially PhD student and master student or undergraduate student. You can use a content validity index to quantify agreement among experts. So it's left for you now to use this as a researcher. If you have submitted your instrument, you are expected to take your time to identify the index of the instrument. Maybe you look at the scores of the items, divide by the number of the items. That will give you what you are expected to do. The next thing is false validity. False validity checks whether the instrument appears on the first to measure what it's supposed to measure. So the appearance of the instrument and the acceptability of the instrument, this is what it's all about. So for a researcher to present something that is acceptable and is presentable, I think this is what we're expected to do. The supervisor may do this, a researcher, an expert will help the candidate or will help the researcher to do that by looking at the clarity of the constructions and even the cosmetics of the instrument. I think by so doing, it will really help also. The last thing is the construct validity. Construct validity determines whether the instrument truly measures the theoretical concept. So the theoretical concept is very, very important. For a researcher to measure something like this, there is need for a researcher to understand that, yes, I'm expected to use factor analysis to check the excesses or to check the otherwise of my instrument. And not only this, you can use convergent validity to determine whether the instrument or the items of the instrument are okay or not. I think this is what the researcher is expected to do. And by so doing, we may discriminate all things that are not supposed to be in the instrument. And I believe at the end, the instrument will be reliable also. This is the simple or the presentation I have for you for today. I believe in our next meeting, we are going to talk about the reliability. God's willing. Thank you. Thank you.